What's up, everybody? Today I'm with Jim Kluegel from Christensen Financial. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Good to see you, Dave.
So Jim Kluegel is my lender partner. What that means is we share some marketing costs together as well as close, hopefully, a lot of business together, right, man?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Jim was actually the person that taught me how to do mortgages back in 2003.
Way back.
And I was known as the Fly because there's a movie, I think a Hitchcock movie, where the Fly was always saying, "Help me, help me," right?
Yes, yes.
And Jim was the man. I just asked thousands of questions because I didn't get it. And finally, I guess at some point it clicked, but he was a great teacher and full circle. Now he's my lender partner. So I wanted to have my man on and kind of just shoot the breeze a little bit. Jim is great. He's super detail oriented, easy to talk to. He gets a lot of information together that makes it in a way that's easy for a potentially someone that doesn't always deal with mortgages or the finance side, makes it easy for them to understand. So what would you say, if you had to say one thing, what would be your best advice to someone looking to get a mortgage or looking to buy a house?
Okay, so that for me would probably be, don't stop at pre-approval. You got to get that next step. Pre-approval is only based on credit and a conversation. Go to the next step, gather the documents, the tax returns, the pay stubs, and the bank statements. Get them to your lender right away so they can review them and make sure there's nothing missing.
And that actually helps me putting an offer together saying that I have a pre-approval versus a pre-qual, and it makes the process a little bit faster and potentially makes it more enticing to a home seller as well. What would you say would be, maybe some of the pitfalls that, people that are looking to purchase make, the most common mistakes that they make?
Well, kind of along the lines of the documentation, a lot of times people have rental properties that they forget to disclose up front. They have, a lot of deposits, money moving around a lot. That doesn't mean you won't qualify, but it can complicate the situation, muddy the scenario a little bit.
And then also, if someone is self-employed and they don't have tax returns for several years, that can make it more complicated. But you guys also, there's if they don't have that, they can do bank statement programs, correct?
Absolutely. There's still a lot of off the beaten path kind of loan products out there intended for just that situation. Cash flows coming in, expenses are being written off, but there are ways to work around that and get you qualified.
What would you say is the least amount down that typically you work with?
Oh gosh, we do 0% down. If you're a veteran, you qualify for VA or a USDA eligible property. Those are 0% down payment, and depending on the situation, if you can get a little help from the seller on some closing costs, very little down, you can really get in for that.
But normally it's like what, FHA is 3.5%, and
correct.
Conventional is 5%, so that's kind
Yep, that's it. 3.5% on FHA, 5% for conventional. There's a 3% conventional out there, but it has a few extra strings attached to it. So again, pick a really good lender that knows what they're doing, so you don't get halfway into the process and realize now you're short on money because you don't hit that 3%.
There's a lot of national brands out there that we see on TV, and they're offering
Sure.
certain things. What would you say would be the advantage of working with a local lender like yourself versus a national brand?
For me, that's going to come down to accountability. So a national brand that somebody's working up there in Detroit, Michigan, and we're down here in Florida, if they drop the ball, if something goes wrong, if it's a really big company, your complaint goes like a drop in the ocean. Okay. Where if it's a local lender who's got realtor partners and they're kind of tied into the deal, whole different level of service, whole different level of accountability. Absolutely.
What about there's some ads out there that say they'll pay your closing costs? What's the catch there?
Yeah, there are a lot of those. And what a lot of people miss, Dave, is that there's always going to be a balance on your loan between the fees that you pay and the rate that you get. If you have somebody saying, hey, no fees, or I'll even cover all the costs, then your rate is probably going to be higher. That creates the margin so that they can cover those costs.
Right.
So you always want to balance the two.
Right.
They go hand in hand.
So if someone doesn't want to pay fees, you can do that same thing.
Absolutely.
Just make the interest rate 0.25% higher or
That's
whatever.
That's it. It's an advertising strategy.
Yeah, and sometimes it makes sense because rates
Absolutely.
are so low that they want to save that cash. They're not maybe staying in the house for that
Absolutely.
long. So
and sometimes that cash is the difference between the deal happening and not happening. Not everybody has the extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to cover all those costs. So for that person, it's the difference of it happening or not. So do you care about a 0.25% rate?
What about, can you think of anything like a really cool scenario that you were able to work out, maybe outside the box?
Okay, so I recently had a client that got her contract. We had her pre-approved, validated pre-approval on that, and she got her contract, forwarded it over to me, and then 2 hours later said, hey, by the way, I'm getting on a plane to the Philippines. I'll be back a month after closing.
Okay.
We got her closed and closed on time.
You just had to like work through just embassy?
Yes, through the embassy. She was over in the Philippines. She had to go to the embassy. We had to have it notarized, a lot of overnighting, a lot more moving pieces to it.
All right, now most importantly, we're both huge Michigan football fans. His grandfather, who's 102 years old, used to play for U of M. Go Blue.
That's it, go Blue.
I want to know what's going on with our offense. Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it Harbaugh? I mean, who?
Quarterback. We need a quarterback. You know, Harbaugh should be bringing in top shelf quarterback, and this guy, not saying top shelf, not seeing it.
So what's your estimate for the season? 9-3? Are we gonna ever
beat
Ohio State?
9-3,
We're not gonna beat Ohio State
and I'm not
year.
feeling it for Ohio State. Not after the Army game.
Unbelievable. Well, hey man, thanks for coming on. It was fun.
You got it, Dave.
Thanks.
Appreciate
man.
you having me.
All right, take care. See ya.